Now that's okay with Katie.
Yep.
It's 7:01, Monday, March 18th, 2024. The Board of Finance meeting for the town of Madison is in session. Please stand. Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I need a motion to approve the minutes from the February 14th Valentine's Day meeting 2024. A motion and second. Thanks, Jude. Any discussion, corrections, amendments? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, abstention?
I think I wasn't there, was I? I was.
It's hard to believe.
Oh, yes.
There.
I'm good. No, thank you. Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's hard. Thank you. All right. I'll Gene to abstain.
You can read your agenda.
Motion still carries. Hard to do that. Chair's comments, obviously, most of us were there on Valentine's Day. Thank you. No. For all the work you're doing.
I think that's a sad statement, but that's my business.
For the rest of us, no, just kidding. For all the work you're putting in, not just now, but during the budget session, thank you. Any finance member comments? Yes.
I just want to thank this board and Stacy and team for, especially for the newbies. You know, being so helpful and getting us up on history and stuff. So it's been a very welcoming experience, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for your contribution, and I want to echo that. Thank you to Stacy and her team, as well as John Picard, our fearless leader, for.
She's still getting fined. I don't care what you
walking us through the process. But we're not workshop anymore.
No, we're not workshop. Oh boy, you just find it.
I'd like to actually put a name to one of Stacy's team.
Yes.
Who does a phenomenal job.
I could not do my job without her.
Oh.
And a huge help for CIP. And when we always say, and her team, she's one of the ones.
I don't want to leave anybody out. No person over there.
Thank you both. Thank you.
All right. Any other comments from the Board of Finance members? I know Peggy told me she was going to be on Zoom. She is. Jean is. Yes, she is. First Select Woman, how are you?
Hi, good.
You're up.
It looks blurry. Do I look blurry on the screen, or is this just my screen?
The day after St. Patrick's Day, we get it.
I know I'm not recovered. So I apologize. I don't know what's going on. My computer's actually a little funny. Let me see if it's lighting. No, it's not lighting for sure. So, all right. I will keep it brief. The town got some good news on Friday. I'm assuming you all saw the press release, or earlier last week, that we got two federal grants that were approved as part of the minibus appropriations package that was passed by Congress. One was a $3.625 million grant for Academy School, the community center project. We applied for this a year ago, and obviously with everything going on in Washington, this got delayed a bit, and normally they should have been voting on this by the end of the year. It dragged on until March, but we were grateful to hear that grant award was included in the package. The second thing that we had also applied in that same cycle for was the grant for a social worker position. The town had that would be working with conjunction with the Madison Police Department. We had a successful pilot program in 2021 where we had somebody working part-time, an intern, and it was a very successful program. And then it was submitted as a proposed permanent part-time position in the budget for that next year. And knowing that we were going to apply for some grants, and the state was looking at kind of how it was going to be directing police departments to move in this direction, to have social workers as part of the team, we kind of put it on hold. And so now we've got the grant. So more details to come. Obviously, to accept these, it'll have to go through Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance. So you get more details on what the position entails, what any kind of, and also on Academy, obviously, any kind of restrictions or concerns there might have. We'll try to have all the information ready when we come forward with the materials to accept the grant. So, but great news. And obviously for Academy, it's significant. That's almost half of the project bonding that was approved in 2022 would now be covered by grants. So that's my news. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for the first selectwoman or comments? Nice job.
I will-
Go ahead.
Okay, I was just going to mention too that the board did get, I should say on Academy, we had an update from the committee. I know you've seen some of the articles and things that have come out about the budget issues that they're facing. I think that's been known for the last couple of months that similar to the new school project, Academy has seen some constraints on trying to deliver the design that had been approved at referendum. They're looking at anywhere from $2 to $3 million short that they would be to deliver that. And so they're coming back to the board with two options, the Board of Selectmen. One would be to fully go forward with the design as, you know, originally contemplated, you know, but would needing additional funding, and we'd have to go back to the voters to get approval for that. But the good news is that we've gotten a lot more grant money, I think, than we ever thought in our wildest dreams. I don't think we would have gotten almost $8 million in grant money for this project. But on the other hand, the other option is just to keep it within budget. You know, the grants would then be subtracted off the 15.9 million, and then we would have a project that would be much more limited in scope. And so they're going to be coming forward and explaining what that would mean, what we would be giving up if we went down that path. So obviously our board is going to be deliberating that. You guys will need to get more involved in this discussion. And then anything that obviously was going to move forward in terms of getting voter approval would have to go through both boards. So that's going to be a fun discussion the next couple of months. But I think the good news is that we've really made a lot of headway. The bonding on this project, no matter what direction we go towards, is going to be significantly below what was approved at referendum. So that's the good news.
Thank you, Peggy. Any comments or questions? First selectwoman, great job with the grants. Okay, thanks. We have new business. Discuss and take action to accept a donation from Madison Little League in the amount of $46,314 for the Nelson Field lighting. Oh, excuse me. Thank you, Katie. Anybody from the public who'd like to speak? Anybody from the public would like to speak? Second. Awesome. Go ahead.
So I'd just like to thank Madison Little League and their entire group for supporting us to help put the lights on Nelson. This is a big deal and will allow them to, you know, host tournament games. It's just a great addition to our facilities at Surf Club, and it will help and be used by a lot of families in town. It's very, very thankful to Madison Little League for supporting us.
Awesome. We all know you. Can you state your name and address for the record?
Sure. Austin Hall, Director of Beach and Recreation, 352 Bradley Corners Road.
Thank you for the comments. Anybody else from the public would like to speak? Second time? Third? Public information session is closed. Now, discuss and take action to accept a donation from Madison Little League in the amount of $46,314 for the Nelson Field lighting project approved by the Board of Selectmen on 2/26/24. Motion made by Katie, I believe seconded by Jude. Any discussion?
I just want to comment.
Good. It's okay.
I just want to comment on how amazing I think that this group has been to raise this kind of money for this project. Little League, I mean, my family was a big user of Little League growing through the years. I love Little League, and in one way it doesn't surprise me because the families are so great to support it, but in another way, just for citizens to come through with this kind of money for a special project like this, they're doing something really special, and I can't thank them enough as a mom of a former Little Leaguer. And just wanted to thank them and know how much it's appreciated.
Any other comments? Echo what Austin stated. I put up to kids who played softball there, and you know, it's Madison Little League. I want to thank them for the commitment. I think it started in CIP, you know, a couple of years ago, and to get this done. And Austin Fuller helped also. I think this is great for the town and the kids. And I appreciate Madison Little League stepping up and helping out a lot. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstention? The motion carries. Yeah, discuss and take action to accept a donation from Madison Little League in the amount of $30,740 for the Nelson Field Lighting Project pending Board of Selectmen approval. Is that form of a motion, please? Motion made, second. Second by Jude, discussion. Hey.
I'm just gonna echo what everybody else said about Madison Little League, having been on their board a while back, and also working closely with them during the CIP process last year. This is a much higher number than we had talked about last year that they are donating, and so I know the amount of work that goes into that, and I want to thank them. And I also just want to point out that, you know, not having to have our kids go to other towns for these games in the late summer and the fall is great. I mean, it brings families into Madison, as well as the benefits that Jude talked about to the athletes themselves. So again, thank you so much to the Madison Little League and all the hard work that went into this.
There was a lot of hard work. Chuck and Chris and a bunch of others that worked extremely hard. Any
And
other?
we're very patient.
Yes. You know, it's very good. I'll bring our people into the top too. Any other discussions, comments? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Be opposed, abstention, that motion carries.
It's easy taking money.
It's easy taking money. There's no argument there. Discuss and take action to accept donations from neighbor to neighbor in the amount of $3,500 to Madison Youth and Family Services to replenish their discretionary fund approved by the Board of Selectmen on 3/12/24. And also the amount of $10,000 replenished their discretionary fund in campus camp tuitions approved by the Board of Selectmen on 3/12/24. So I think both at the same time. Make that form of a motion, please. Made, second by Matt. Discussion, comments.
I'm gonna call out neighbor to neighbor. They are just a phenomenal partnership with us. And over the years, they have just helped our town and so many families. And I think people forget that there are families in this town. And yes, we have an affluent population in certain areas, but people forget how much people need, especially during these rough times. And neighbor to neighbor has just been phenomenal.
Thank you. I'm glad you pointed that out. You're absolutely right. Any other discussion or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Motion carries. Yeah, if you don't mind. I don't want to make it do too much. Discuss and take action to approve the following appropriations related to ARPA funds. Return project balances totaling $76,889 to the ARPA fund. Approved around 18 ARPA fund requests from the Emergency Services Department, amount of $9,015 to partially fund enhanced software for the Fire Marshal's Office, and both volunteer fire departments have been approved by the BOS on 3/12/24. They take them both at the same time. Can I get that in form of a motion? Motion made by Katie. I need a second by Matt. Thanks. Discussion. I know Sam's here if we need him, but is there any discussion or comments? Yeah, I did hand that out kind of late.
It's okay. You want me to walk you through?
Yes, please.
Okay.
That's my fault.
So up at the top, we received $5.3 million in ARPA funds. We approved projects of 5.152, leaving the balance of 183 as of now. We included in that 1.52 are a bunch of projects that are not done or committed yet. So we went through, we combed through all the balances and found the 6 that are listed next and said, okay, these are completely done. Let's return the money back to the master ARPA account so we can reallocate to another project. We have to commit by December 31st of 24 for the funds, and we need to spend the funds by December 31st of 26. So what we did is we reached out to all department heads in any project that had a balance out there and said everything needs to be committed, meaning encumbered or with a contract. or returned by June 1st, so that you all, both boards, can go back and say, okay, we have this amount of funds, what are we gonna spend or commit to by the end of this calendar year? So we're continuously reviewing the balances and updating you all as we have an update. So to date, we found another 76 to return, which brings us to an available balance of the 260,000. This one item has been pending for a while, for youth soccer and youth football, portable lighting. And I believe Austin, if you have further questions on it, Austin can speak. It's really not an item. Oh, okay. It's not an item for tonight, but he will have an update, I believe, for the next Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance, so we can cross that off the list. I think the number's gonna be lower, but we'll find out when Austin comes back with that. The one item on the agenda tonight is that $9,000. We had previously approved $15,000, I believe, for this same project. Sam never spent the money, so we took it from him. So now he's back asking.
That'll teach you, Sam.
So now he's asking for us to give it back, a portion of it to give back for the next 2 years. It's a commitment for the next 2 years, so we can use ARPA funds. So that's what the 9,000 is in your agenda. So if you approve the 9,000, and if the 130 is a true number, we would still have 121 as of today. The number on the bottom, I do think, is misleading. It takes the original 5.3 and everything that's been encumbered or spent to date, showing $1.1 million available. That is not available. Those are just items that have not been expended yet or encumbered yet. For example, downtown, there's 118,000 that we could be spending. The geothermal project here, you all know we needed extra money, so they just have a balance of 154,000. That money will be gone. Do I think we're gonna return more money? Yes. Do I think it's gonna be close to this $1 million? Absolutely not. But we just kind of wanted to show you a snapshot of where we are right now.
Go ahead, Kate.
I have 2 questions. So are we not, do you know if they plan to, are they just, not gonna have an EDC coordinator anymore?
At this point, the plans are not
That was
finalized.
Sherry's.
It was Sherry. We need to commit by the end of this year. I do not think if we do get another one, that we're gonna be able to.
That was
do
Guilford and Madison, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And then, in our budget books, we had a couple other things that were requested potentially for ARPA funding, the fire marshal for 15,000, which was for 2 years.
That's the same as this 9,000. So the number has been fine tuned from
Okay.
15 down to 9.
Okay, good to know. And then the downtown lights for 26.
So that will be coming to you in a future meeting to the Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance.
But that's still being considered for ARPA.
Yes, that will be a request from the Board of Selectmen. It's
And
just
how
not,
much
they
is
didn't
it?
request it formally yet. They talked about it in their budget workshop. So they're gonna do it at a Board of Selectmen meeting.
Okay.
John? Sorry.
So the bottom line is, we have somewhere between 121,000 and 1,000,001. Can we,
Sure.
can we get a
Less
better?
fuzzy now?
Yeah, we do. I mean, we're making some assumptions, but our thought was, let's give everybody to June 1st. You know, we'll let you know if things are definitely, closable, so to speak, we will bring it to you. But everybody has till June 1st, and then we're gonna, so to speak, pull the plug and say, okay. But it's nowhere near $1 million. I mean, I can tell you, I wrote down, Nelson, there's 200,000 for the lighting. We just approved the donation.
Right.
That's gone.
Yeah.
The geothermal is 154, so that's gone. So I almost wish we didn't include this, but I think the thought was we just wanted you all to know that there will be more money. So don't be surprised, and we need to think of ways to spend it by the end of the year, or commit to it by the end of the year.
You use it or lose it.
So 2-part question. Do we have documentation that you can share with the new people, like what ARPA can be used for and what it can't be used for?
Sure.
Number 2 is, any of this money, can we use it for CIP projects?
Yes, we have.
We have.
Oh, okay.
So
That's where you go back to what's
Including
not
the
committed and
geothermal.
see what
Yeah.
you do.
There's a lot, there's some bathrooms like at Rockland, East Wark, West Wark, there's some balances there. I wish Austin was here. We don't know, you know, what's left, the playground we returned, but the balance is in here. There's a lot of CIP projects that we funded. The geothermal for here was funded through there, the Nelson lighting, the tennis courts for the Board of Ed. So it's perfect to use it on a big capital project. Especially we only have till the end of the year.
The gym floor we can't.
The gym floor, we cannot use it as matching because it's a steep grant and you can't use federal grant to match a state grant.
But the good point, and the John's point, you want to use it or lose it, so we find things that if by June 1st, that
There will be, but it's not gonna be close to $1 million.
good.
And I will say, to your question about what can be used and can't be used, there's a lot of gray area that.
Yeah, and we used a revenue loss, eligibility requirement. You can lose up to $10 million and then all bets are off. There really was not like definite guidelines on it. You can pretty much spend it on anything. So we fell under that $10 million revenue loss. But we can definitely get you the 900-page document of the final ruling.
ChatGPT, summarize.
Obviously, there's a motion, second, we're still in discussion. Any other discussion when it comes to the motion? All right, so seeing none, it's basically the return to balance only 76,000. I'm just summarizing 889, and then the 9,015 from Department of Emergency Services.
Do they have to be two separate motions?
I don't think so. This will shake your head. No,
Oh, it's under one.
It's under one.
We did the motion in form of one motion. I was just repeating it since we've been talking. It was under one motion. So it was already made and second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Discuss and take action to approve an application from the Saltwater Property Group LLC and Saltwater Property Group 2 LLC under the Town of Madison Tax Incentive Assessment Deferral Program for an assessment deferral of no more than 5 years approved by the Board of Selectmen on 3/12/24 and pending a town meeting approval. Can I get that in a form of motion, please? Anybody? It's back. Can I get a second? Is there a second? Second too. Discussion. So basically,
Can you?
Please.
I was hoping somebody was gonna be on here to help me out with this one, so.
Who's that?
well, I think that it
EDC.
reduces the assessment for X number of years up to, most they can do is up to 5 years, but I just don't know, is that 50%? What are we doing?
So, yeah, so there's an ordinance, it's a tax incentive ordinance for people to build in Madison. They have to meet certain criteria and eligibility, but to come to Madison and build and bring and increase our tax base, they get a phase-in option for their tax impact. So because they're coming, we do it too.
I think statutorily, the most you can do is 7 years.
Oh, Peggy's on
I
here.
assume this is for businesses since it's EDC, not private homes.
Yes, it's not for private homes, and there is in your packet, it can be 5-year, 7-year,
Right.
or 10-year,
It's 10 years.
depending on the price, the estimated price of the assessed value. So I believe this one falls to about 2 million, which would be a 5-year phase-in. So they could get a reduction in their taxes, phase it in over 5 years, and then eventually the full amount will be on the tax
After the
roll.
5 year, after this deferral program starts, it's 100% taxable.
Yeah, and in your document, you could see the 5-year, you can do 40% for the 5 years, or you could do 0, 20, 40. So it's all in here.
Do you want to comment first, Selectman, on this?
Yeah, I mean, so this is a new program that came in, I think prior to when I was first came into office. We approved 2 applicants already. One was the Bradley downtown, and the other one was a storage Milano storage unit project. And it's kind of gone through some evolution about, criteria. We've had some discussions with the EDC about you know, what qualifies for this. You know, right now it doesn't have a lot of detail on that to who qualifies for these types of projects. But I think overall that after reviewing their review of the project, it seemed to, you know, align with the strategic plan. And I think that's what our ultimate goal is, making sure this, you know, if we're going to grant these types of tax incentives, it needs to fit within the POCD and the strategic plan. And so going forward, we're going to try to develop, you know, better criteria, I guess, for these applications. But this project, I think when we all read it, thought it did align with that. And I think, did you get a memo from the EDC as part of your packet on this?
The ordinance is in here, the application is in here. And then a project summary, and then there is a memo.
There's not, or there is?
There is. Yep.
Okay, yeah, okay, so it just, so, you know, they made the process that we had followed before was they would recommend it to the Board of Selectmen, and then the Board of Selectmen would evaluate it and then make a recommend, and then approve it, and then we pass it on to the Board of Finance, then it goes to town meeting.
It still goes before the town. See, I'm not a huge fan of the tax deferral, but this is only 5 years, and you know, it's okay, approved by the BOS. Any other comments or thoughts? We have a motion and a second. One more discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstention? Motion carried. I know Stacy and Kristen sent out the financials. If there are any questions, I know Philmer's out here to ask a question about the fund balance. Katie, you want to take over? Any questions on the financials?
I think I'm good. I've asked enough questions.
That was a compliment. Any other questions on the financials? Okay, anybody from the public who'd like to comment? Second time, third time, public information session is now closed. I need a motion to adjourn at 7:28. Can I get a second? Second by Jude. Third, fourth, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.